Welcome to National Pension Partners, where retirement planning meets peace of mind. Today, we're diving into the 412(e)(3) plan, also known as a fully insured pension plan. This isn't just any retirement plan. It's the gold standard for stability and guaranteed benefits. How does it work? Simple. It's funded exclusively by life insurance and annuity contracts. This means no market risks, no actuarial assumptions, just ironclad guarantees. Think of it like this. You're a small business owner who hates surprises. The 412(e)(3) plan gives you predictable, stable contributions every year. Your future benefits are backed by insurance contracts, so you know exactly what you're getting. No guesswork, no headaches. But there's more. These plans are designed to maximize your contributions and offer significant tax advantages. And with National Pension Partners, you're not just getting a plan, you're getting a team of experts, attorneys, CPAs, actuaries, all dedicated to making your retirement as secure as possible. We provide personalized consulting, ensuring that your plan is tailored to your specific needs. Best part? Initial consultations and proposals are absolutely free. $0, zero commitment. So if you want a retirement plan that's as reliable as your morning coffee, head over to nationalpensions.com. With the 412(e)(3) plan, your future is in safe hands. Retirement planning never sounded so thrilling. Perfect for small business owners who like their finances as predictable as Monday mornings. Stable contributions, ironclad guarantees, and serious tax advantages. It's the trifecta of financial security. And with National Pension Partners, you get a team of brainiacs, attorneys, CPAs, actuaries, ensuring your retirement is as secure as Fort Knox. Oh, did we mention the free consultations? That's right. You get a personalized expert proposal with $0 down. So, if you want a retirement plan that's as reliable as your morning coffee, head over to nationalpensions.com. Because when it comes to your future, boring is the new exciting. Retirement planning never sounded so thrilling. For more details, check out National Pension Partners at nationalpensions.com. Retirement planning never sounded so thrilling.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Economics with the Honorable David M. Walker. I'm Nick Pelvitt. I'll be the moderator for today's show. And as I left to go to LA last week to come back, the U.S. got into this war with Iran. David is traveling, and hopefully he's safe, but he should be showing up a little later on this program. But we do have a very special guest you've seen before on the show. Of course, it's Steve Rao. Steve, good to see you back here in the saddle, where you belong, by the way. Apparently.
So I'm not. I'm a little bit not in the professional mode today. My political career is over. I lost a stunning upset in the county commission race. Lost in a landslide. So
you never lose. You just get moved to a different position. That's all.
Well, I think I'm going to retire from politics for the next 4 years, and I'm going to channel into my media and my work and family. So it's I guess the end of a political career. I do not think I'll be running for office again. It was a very stunning loss. We were polling at 1 or 2, and then the two people that we didn't think were going to won in the landslide. So I think we got caught in the wave. But I'm closing my committee, and I'll be a private citizen. But looking forward to my work on the media. But yeah, so sorry for the unprofessional appearance.
You're doing good and everything.
Yeah, I think that. This whole Iran situation, I'm going to have to get schooled on it. I've been so busy campaigning, but a terrible situation. We pray for the 6 service members who lost their lives. I don't know whether this is a play on strengthening relationship with Israel. I think it'll be interesting to see how this plays in the midterm elections, which I think will help the Democrats, and also who they look to for the presidency, and also might affect Marco Rubio's chances. I've heard through rumor mills that he will be most likely the vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance, and this could help them. But I want to hear from you guys today because I've really been out of the loop on this. But I do think it's another disruptive shift in U.S. foreign policy. And now Trump's saying he's not going to accept the Ayatollah that they put in there. Like, who is he to say who's to run other countries? So this gets disruptive every day. But looking forward to waiting here from David, and it's good to be back.
Yeah, he's the world emperor and everything. I got a question for you, Nick, while we're waiting for David. I was actually going to ask David, and maybe David's got some thoughts. And this is actually going away from the Iran war just for a second and everything like that. But what is our thoughts about us getting away from getting back to the 5-day a week work week and everything, but also people being paid to show up and not work? Because apparently, as corporate Americans and Europeans are dragging workers back to the 5 days in the office and squeezing for more efficiency. Japan is quietly paying thousands of older employees to show up, sit down, and do almost nothing at all. So it's called the Magatawasi cohort, older, underperforming, and redundant employees who are assigned desks near the window with little or no work to do. So they are actually intentionally given work and getting paid and everything like that. And these are window workers, mostly Gen X and Boomer men in their late 50s and 60s, who were hired on the promise of lifetime employment, Kuzin Toyo, and seniority-based pay system.
Yeah, they're called
Nick,
government employees. Yeah,
Nick.
David. Yep.
Nick, I've only got a few minutes. I'm in New York, and I've got meetings in New York. And so
Okay.
let me just make a few opening comments, because we're talking about Iran, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, first, I think one can justify the actions that have been taken. At the same point in time, there's real concern with the lack of effective communication with regard to what our objectives are and how and when we plan to get out. The Israelis took the lead on eliminating the Ayatollah and top leadership. The Americans ended up focusing on trying to look at missile sites, missile production, drone sites in production, nuclear sites, and certain military installations. The Americans also took the lead on trying to eliminate the Iranian Navy. The Iranians made a mistake when they lost the chain of command and started attacking their Gulf neighbors. They said they were attacking military installations, but that's not true. They also attacked hotels, including five-star hotels in Dubai, which caused the Gulf states to start supporting some of our efforts. The UK originally did not allow us to use access to their bases, in particular Diego Garcia. But after the Iranians attacked one of their installations, they allowed us to use it. Obviously, there have been not just military implications. We've lost 7 members of our military so far, but there have also been geopolitical implications, because China relies upon Iran for most of their oil. They also relied upon Venezuela, which has obviously been cut off. But in addition, there are certain other countries that rely upon Iran quite a bit, and with their flow being cut off, and also that of other nations, oil-producing nations in the Middle East, the U.S., believe it or not, is now allowing India to be able to import oil from Russia, which obviously helps Russia. At the same point in time, China is getting a double squeeze with regard to their access to oil. We really have to get a sense of
Frozen.
He froze.
Good stuff, though. Good stuff.
percent of energy production goes through the Straits of Hormuz every day. And as a result, there's only been one oil tanker that I know of that's gone through the strait because they're concerned about drones. They're not concerned about the Iranian Navy. It's pretty much been decimated, but they are concerned about drones. And so the U.S. is now thinking about providing U.S. Navy escorts, and also potentially some insurance for those who end up going through. But so far, they haven't started the transit, so we'll have to see what happens. As I said, the real question is, what are the criteria that we're going to get out, and when are we going to get out? I'm in New York today, as I said before, and the market is down significantly today, in large part because of uncertainty and also the fact that oil has gone up from $60 a barrel to a little over $100 a barrel as a result of the lack of flow of energy through the Strait of Hormuz and uncertainty with regard to when this conflict is going to end. So those are my opening comments. I'm happy to hear what people have to say.
We have Sasha Starr on board.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to mention something that Israel and US have different goals and different reasons for fighting this war. There is already a rift between Israel and the United States, and tomorrow Kushner and Witkoff or whoever else will go to Israel to discuss that. What Israel does, for Israel, it's an existential war, and what they're trying to do is to destroy as much of Iranian infrastructure, their facilities, just almost anything. But destroy. That's their strategy. And that's understandable. And even understandable why Israel started this war. Now, what US is doing in that war, to me, it's absolutely unclear. Besides that, Bibi Netanyahu very cleverly got Trump involved. Other than that, I don't see any reason US being in that war. There is no existential threat from Iran to United States. There will be a lot of threats once this war will be over. And as I said previously, there will be numerous attacks in next several years against American embassies, targets. I even think that there will be attacks on U.S. soil, such as, for example, gated communities in Florida. They're not immune to Iranian attacks. They can get, say, 4 or 5 Iranians with the necessary gear, and they can destroy gated community in a matter of a few minutes. There will be no defense against actions like that. That's why Europeans, they're not rushing to get involved in this war because they know consequences. They know that Iranians are the most fanatical and vindictive people in history. Nobody wants to have to deal with this, whether you're right or wrong, whether you are pacifist or you're a Christian or non-Christian. Nobody wants to have to deal with this horrible situation. U.S., when Venezuela, there was one action, they took Maduro and his wife and so on. Okay, the war is over, great, we are the winners or so on. There is no such thing as in Iran, because it's Israel who destroyed Ayatollah and his 40 advisors. So whatever he's doing there, United States, is not tangible, it's not measurable, it's not very difficult to portray as some kind of victory. Okay, we've got our stuff. Okay, now we can go home. There's no such thing. So they have to be there for incredibly unmeasurable time, because without food on the ground, they will never, ever control Iran, the regime change, or any other thing. It's impossible. So you have to get your foot on the ground. So guess what? The gasoline will go $5 per gallon in the United States. The United States will get Trump out of power earlier than they will get Ayatollah out of power.
I want to point out something that over the years, China has diversified its energy sources. So it's going to be less impacted by the increased oil prices. Plus, they stockpiled their crude oil over the years, just in case something would have ever happened. China has learned from its mistakes over the years, and they really put forth a little conscious effort of thinking and critical thinking skills when they do things, but they had diversified their energy sources. So the impact of this situation is not as bad as you think for them. Now, I'm just saying that maybe Trump's idea of doing this, because he cut off the oil from Venezuela and China to China as well as Iran, perhaps his attack is really on China and not on Venezuela and Iran. Maybe this was his way to choke China out a little bit. But China has said for quite some time since Trump got into office, we can withstand anything you throw at us. You want a stock war? You want, a war with oil and gas? They're prepared, and they're prepared to withstand it until Trump's out of office. I'm just saying, I'm not a big fan of what Trump is doing. I think that killing those children was the most grossest thing that has ever happened in the history of my lifetime. I think it's disturbing, other than the Epstein files, which is more disturbing because our government has done nothing about that either. But we have pinpoint precision weapons that could take out anything from a long distance. And I agree with David that this is a drone war, and they need to cover their heads better, because where the military people were killed, they had no roof. They had 8-foot walls, but no roof. And, Trump is bragging about, oh, we're secure behind these tall walls. No, you're not with drones. And the drones have gotten better, more sophisticated, and cheaper. So their warfare is going to destroy us if we're not careful.
Those are great points. I had to run. I've been on leave from work for 3 months, and so today's my first day.
Steve, before you leave, I did have a quick question. It doesn't have to do with the Iran war and everything like that. But Trump said he's not going to sign any bill until the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act is approved by the Senate, doubling down on his push to change voting requirements. So I know you just came out of a political campaign, but what are your thoughts about this notion of this requirement of citizenship, which is what they're claiming SAVE is about and everything? Because he's saying that he's not going to pass anything until that's approved by the Senate. It's already been approved by the House.
Yeah, you can't run for office if you're not a citizen. So I think it's just complete, just continuing to use this to make noise. And Kimberly, thanks for your support. Sorry to disappoint, but yeah, I think it's just smoke and mirrors, and we'll he's not gonna leave this issue until he just completely scares people who aren't citizens to leave the country. So I think it's bullying and badgering. We should expect more from a president than this, but until he leaves the White House, this is what we're going to get. So I think we just have to deal with it and figure out the plan moving forward. And it's great to see you.
It's already illegal to vote if you're not a citizen. And the Heritage Foundation, hyper-conservative organization, keeps a voter fraud database. And over the past 30 years, they've only found 77 instances out of a total of 2 billion votes cast in the U.S. of non-citizens trying to vote. It's not a thing.
No.
All right.
I show my ID. I have to show my card and sign in. And we got pretty strict rules here in the county where I live. We just don't walk in and get a ballot.
Plus, most people vote at their precincts where they're known and they've been voting for years. There's ID requirements in place in the voting system already. It's not like you can just fill out a piece of paper and vote. You can't.
But it comes down to that transactional notice, because basically it sounds like he's holding votes as a form of blackmail, because he's basically saying he won't sign anything unless it is passed.
That's fine, because the government is already paralyzed. And
also, they want to put ICE agents at every polling, as if they're going to catch. They're not going after immigrants. I just want to warn people. your IDs that you have now usually show whether you are registered Democrat, Republican, or independent. And I think that they're going to start using their ability to look at your ID and know which way you're voting and intimidate you or yank you out of the line and shoot you. You know, I mean, I'm just saying that I think that ICE is used to terrorize their military for Trump. And they, we're going to have to, live with it.
So the sad part is, Kim, you're right. That's what
I'm right. I've been watching.
Plan is. The plan, I mean, they've already put this in Project 2025 and all the other stuff. At some point, I mean, they've already talked about having a data. They're trying to get the voter registration data. They're trying to pass this crazy bill that really disenfranchises more people than it actually helps. Because as Rick pointed out, there is really based on all data, there's no voter fraud that happens in the U.S. It is already illegal. Nobody's taking the chance of actually going out and doing those things because the actual committing that crime, it's pretty bad. So nobody's going in for voter fraud. The individuals that they found recently that have done voter fraud were all voting for Trump, oddly enough. But what they want to do is disenfranchise the individuals that are voting for the Democrats because they're trying to hold on not only to the House, but also to as much power as they possibly can. Because with that voter law, that disenfranchises a ton of 20 million women, no, 30 million women, wasn't it? It also hits in terms of the African-American community. It hits millions of individuals there. It creates a poll tax situation because you've got to pay for not only a passport. If you can't get the passport, you got to pay for your birth certificate. You got to do all these hoops now to get there. And then they closed down. I think it's the libraries now you can't go to get your actual passport updated. So now it's going to take even longer. Now there's a backlog of people trying to get their passport. So therefore, hey, by the time November rolls around, you're not going to have that. Then you also have the pretense of what you talked about, Kim, with ICE agents, which again, that was already banted around or batted around as an idea to put in control, make sure that illegals weren't voting was what they were saying. And that was just 2-3 weeks ago before the war started. Now we have the false
can't afford to take an hour off to go vote to begin with.
Exactly. And now we have a war started on false pretenses. And Trump has already stated on multiple occasions, we can't have voting when there's a war going on. So now if you have all the pieces that are in play, you can see what they're going to do before it actually happens.
You have to prove that the president in power at the time, that you would risk the country by taking him out of office during a wartime. But one thing I want to point out, while he is sending our men and women and children to fight a war that really didn't need to be fought, and spending billions of dollars and sacrificing their lives and making it hard on these people, he went and hosted $1 million a plate party at Mar-a-Lago, his country club. So he probably made, $20-30 million just hosting a big party at his country club. For who? I don't know, probably his own pocket. But we're spending billions of dollars unnecessarily risking the lives of our military. I just saw a video of someone filming through the Atlanta airport, and hundreds, if not thousands, of our Army personnel are sleeping on the floors in Atlanta because they can't afford to get a hotel room, or there are not enough hotel rooms for them during long layovers. Now, Army guys, at the Raleigh-Durham Airport, we do have a USO facility that I used to volunteer for. So if you need to take a long nap and get a hot meal, pop on in. But it's concerning me because we are spending billions and billions of dollars. We're making mistakes, hitting the wrong targets. We're, you know what? Someone said, "Oh, you can't impeach him with the, these people can't go in to impeach him." Why not? Because he's making up the rules as he goes. Why can't we make up rules as we go? He needs to go. He's a danger to our society. He's a danger to our country. He has made us the world's most wanted enemy. And, by cutting off China or trying to cut off China, he's only angered them more at us, and they can take over our country. All they need to do is partner with Iran and Venezuela, and they can take us over.
Since
And
this
nobody
is an
thinks of the
economic
consequences. No
Since
one.
this is an economic show, let's talk about the cost of the war. The war costs the U.S. $1 billion a day. In the first 6 days of the war, the U.S. suffered an estimated $2 billion in damage to American bases in the Mideast. So,
Yep.
so far the war has cost us about $12 billion. If it goes for months, the costs will climb above $100 billion.
Yeah, the
Well,
climb
Trump
up
has
there.
already said that this is going to be a forever war.
Iraq war cost us a trillion.
We're already in debt, as we oftentimes talk about on this show and everything like that. Hey, Sasha, just really quickly, because it's one of the people that he's saying that we don't need to have their involvement because we've already won the war, and that's what Trump is claiming and everything. What is your take on Keir Starmer and this conflict? Because apparently they're meeting now, Keir Starmer and Trump, but he is claiming that they're coming into the war as a latecomer and everything like that, and that we don't need their help and everything like that. But what is your take on that? And should England get involved?
I don't know. It seems to me that I'm frozen, but I can hear myself. So maybe
We can hear you. Keep talking.
fine. UK has a very sizable Muslim community inside, and a sizable Iranian community for that matter as well. And Keir Starmer is the same as all